You finally hired an assistant. You were expecting leverage, but now you're managing more, not less. The assistant was not the problem, it was the setup. Most assistant hires don't fail in month 3, they fail in week 1, when the groundwork is missing and expectations are misaligned. In this video, I'll walk you through the 5 most common mistakes I've seen from thousands of first-time hires so you can get it right the first time. Here's what most people don't realize. Hiring an assistant isn't the finish line. It's the starting line for a different kind of work, the kind that builds compounding freedom. At Wing, I've seen thousands of assistant-client pairings, and almost all of the success stories have one thing in common. They avoided these early preventable mistakes. This video is about helping you sidestep those traps and set up your assistant to win from day 1. Mistake 1, vague outcomes, no success definition. Can you just help me with stuff? That's not a delegation strategy. That's a productivity trap waiting to happen. The most common mistake I see, founders hand over a category, not an outcome. You say, I need help with social media. But what you really mean is, I want to publish 3 polished posts a week without writing them myself. Assistants want to win, but if you don't define what winning looks like, they can't build toward it. They're just reacting. If you can't define the outcome, you'll end up managing inputs. And that's not delegation, that's a duplication. Mistake 2, no playbook or process. Even when founders get clear on outcomes, they often skip the part that makes those outcomes repeatable. If the system only lives in your head, it's not a system. And without a system, every task feels like a brand new problem. I've seen this play out more times than I can count. Founders spend hours onboarding an assistant, then they get pinged 12 times a day because there's no shared process. Before, task message, can you help with reporting? After, Google Doc plus Loom walkthrough, weekly KPI report, steps 1 through 3, with links to dashboard plus owner expectations. You don't need a Notion empire or a 60-page SOP. You just need one repeatable way to explain the thing, so you never have to explain it again. A good assistant can do the work. A great one can run the system, but only if you give them one. Mistake 3, treating your assistant like a task rabbit. If you treat your assistant like a vending machine, input task, expect output, you're not building leverage, you're building dependency. The best assistants are not task takers, they are operators. They think in systems, anticipate needs, and adapt to how you work. But that only happens if you treat them like part of the machine, not just a button on the side. Old mindset, do this one thing for me. New mindset, own this workflow so I never have to touch it again. I've seen this with actually 2 particular clients that joined about 1.5 years ago. They both needed a social media assistant. Client A, they told their assistant, hey, here's the folder with all the social media content, use it and post the stuff on social media. That client churned after about 2 weeks because they didn't feel that there was a good outcome. The other client took their assistant and told them, hey, I need you to take this library of social media content and I want you to increase the followership of my Instagram channel by 1,000 followers every week. And guess what? That client is still with us. Assistants are capable of far more than basic admin. I've seen them build reporting dashboards, run internal communications, even train new hires, but only when the founder stepped back and said, this is yours now. Train systems, not just steps. If you want leverage, don't ask, what can they take off my plate? Ask, what can they run without me? Mistake 4, skipping the why conversation. A lot of assistants fail, not because they missed a task, but because they didn't understand the bigger picture. Most founders are good at saying what they want. Fewer explain why it matters or how it fits into the bigger picture. But when an assistant understands your priorities, your pace, and your principles, they start anticipating, not just reacting. I've seen assistants go from average to essential just by hearing a Loom where the founder explained, here's how I make decisions, here's what really matters to me, and what we're trying to build. You don't need to overshare or narrate every move, but if you want your assistant to think clearly, you need to show them how you think first. People rise to the level of clarity they're given. And if you want better output, start by sharing the why. Mistake 5. Expecting magic without management. Here's the myth. You hire an assistant and suddenly everything runs itself. Here's the reality. Even top-tier assistants need guidance, calibration, and feedback, especially early on. The most common failure point I see, founders vanish. No check-ins, no feedback, no systems for iteration, just silence until something breaks. Managing doesn't mean micromanaging. It means setting expectations, reviewing outcomes, and adjusting course together. Assistants also don't need magic, they need rhythm. And when you give them that, they give you back your time. Final breakdown: set them up, don't set them adrift. Hiring an assistant is like handing someone the keys to your house. You don't just say, figure it out and leave for the weekend. You show them where things are, what matters, and how to take care of what you've built. Assistants don't need you to be perfect, but they do need you to be intentional. Give them clarity, give them context, give them connection. And that's how you build real leverage and avoid early regret. If you're hiring your first assistant or even just thinking about it and want to avoid these mistakes, start with the checklist I have linked below. And if you want to get matched with a well-trained, curious assistant, check out wingassistant.com. We've helped thousands of founders, managers, and busy creatives to manage delegation to get a real advantage, not just outsourcing other tasks. Your time is too valuable to waste on false starts.